What's up, data transformers? This is Bolaji, and welcome to Data Career Transformations, the show where we watch analytics engineers, data analysts, and data scientists transform their careers. Today, we are talking to a level 3 data engineer in HR tech who's worked with lakehouse architecture, partitioning and optimization strategies for Iceberg, structuring data transformation and modeling processes to ensure governance and efficiency, refactoring models. She's done it all. Yes. But here's what you don't know about her. As a kid, she wanted to be an astronomer because of Carl Sagan's show Cosmos. Yep. As a teenager, she had a blog about poetry, and you'll see why. Throughout her life, she's been a classical ballet dancer and a big Swiftie who can't work without music ever. We're going to talk a lot more about this. This is going to be a fun one. My friends, por favor, ajuden. Please help me welcome, in my very broken Portuguese, the DBT Community Igniter for Women in Data, Larissa Mendes. Hola, Larissa.
Hi, Bolaji. Thank you for your kind introduction.
I am very, very excited to have you on the show. This is a big treat. Larissa is our second guest from Brazil. Larissa, you are actually from Senhor do Bonfim in Bahia, Brazil. Wonderful. So what is Senhor do Bonfim famous for?
Well, we have a very popular folk party that happens in June, actually. It's called São João. It's a popular party. Actually started as a religious party, but now we celebrate with music and good food and hanging out with family and friends.
This is good. This is good. And we're going to get into this part of your story that relates to your career, but I'm very interested in how music and dancing have been such a big part of your life. You are a Swiftie. You love some Taylor Swift. How did you get into that music?
Yeah. I started as a Swiftie when I was years old, so it was a long time. I'm not gonna say my age, but it was a long time ago. And it's a music that I always liked as a kid, and I still like it today, you know? So it's been a part of my life. So several years now.
All right. So Larissa says she's a Swiftie. Folks, should we test how much of a Swiftie Larissa actually is? We're going to do it. We're going to do a lyrics test right quick. I know a couple of Taylor Swift lyrics myself. All right, so I'm going to start the lyric. You got to complete it. Okay, here's the first one. Larissa, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling...
20.
Let's go, Larissa. All right, how about this one? Now we got
problems.
She's good. All right. So you're actually a Swiftie, but in terms of dancing, I was really, really intrigued. I was really surprised to hear that you've done ballet for over 20 years. From what I've heard, that is a big commitment. It's a very difficult and challenging form of dance.
Yes, I started ballet when I was 10 years old, and I've been doing it across all my years, and today as a adult dancer. And I think some of it actually helped me in my education and my career, because it's something like you have to have that discipline. You have to be on class. You have to be on time. You have to be like your hair done, and you have to be your uniform on. And you have to be kind and generous and respectful with yourself and with others, with your teachers.
Wow.
It's a very good thing to expose yourself to different methodologies, different teachers, in different places. And actually, as you mature as a dancer, you start to be like more respectful. Today, people always think that dancers are jealous and competitive with each other.
I've seen some movies like this, Larissa.
Yeah. And I think as you mature as a dancer, you can be more aware of how we perceive others. Like you have this great turner on your class. You can watch them and actually learn from them and think, what are they doing? how can I be better? Like it's
Wow.
always something, how can I be better than I was yesterday?
That's interesting. I
Yes.
like that. I like that a lot, Larissa. I do have to ask the question because people want to know data engineers, analytics engineers, data scientists, data analysts, who are the best dancers?
Well, we have to have a contest.
Yes,
Let's have a
yes.
contest.
You heard it here first. So Larissa is going to lead the dance contest when we get together next. I love this. I'd love to hear your origin story, Larissa,
Mhm.
because you are doing some really interesting things at Guppy. By the way, um, I think when did you hit data engineer level 3? I think that was fairly recently.
Yeah, it's this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bravo. Very nice. Very nice. And so you've been at Guppy about 4 years. You've
Yeah.
been working with lakehouse architecture, partitioning and optimization strategies, a lot of work with Iceberg. This is all really interesting. But you didn't start out in data. You almost fell into data by accident. Where did your story begin?
Okay. I actually didn't come from a tech background. I graduated in mechanical engineering, but even back then, I feel like I had a bit of a crush in programming. And after I finished my bachelor's degree, it was 2019, I started a master's degree in renewable energies. My research focused on computational fluid dynamics, so
Wow.
still programming.
Yes.
Back then, I was studying the carbonation phenomena in wind turbine concrete towers. And at the time, I worked a lot with MATLAB, and I felt like I should improve myself, improve my abilities. That's when pandemic hit in 2020, and everything went remote. So
Yes.
I moved back with my parents, and I stay at
Okay.
home to continue my research remotely.
Mm, mm,
And I remember being completely overwhelmed by the number of free online courses and popping up everywhere. I remember it was like the internet had opened all its doors at the same time. That's when I took my first Python course. It was a remote online course, a free course, and that was it. That was my first contact with the world of data analysis.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because at first I didn't think of it as a career option for me. I was just having fun. And honestly, I was studying for the pure joy of it and felt like there's something that I was studying because I really enjoyed for the first time.
Yes.
And then my husband said to me, hey, you can actually build a career out of this, right? And I was skeptical at first, but that really planted a seed. And from there, I started taking it more seriously. I used to say that I got into data by accident because I was studying data analysis, and a
Yes.
friend of mine from college offered me this internship in his startup.
Wow.
And I say yes because I really could use the money. I was a postgraduate student and I would work part time, so it wouldn't interfere with my studies, my research. So it was a win-win situation for me.
Interesting. This was Casa dos Ventos Energias Renováveis. Oh, okay, okay, okay. This could you explain for our listeners what that company did? Something about connecting people to products and services in Brazil?
Yeah, it's like it's a food delivery app.
Okay.
Yeah. So they started very small, very focused on the city we lived on. And then they expanded for the whole country.
Yes.
Majorly after pandemic, of course, the food delivery apps were
Of
very
course.
popular.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. Wow, wow, wow. Food delivery companies have become very popular here in the United States as well. DoorDash, Uber Eats. I'm very interested in what maybe some of their data needs or
Mhm.
their data challenges are behind the scenes. We all
Yes.
have, probably all of us have used a food delivery app. What sort of data challenges were they having?
Well, when I started that, I was like more of a business analyst
That's
or a
right.
BI developer.
Mm-hmm.
And something that we used to do was analyze customer behavior, like what are people purchasing, what items are purchased together. You add a pizza to your cart, and of course you're
Yes.
gonna add a dessert too. So we can offer a dessert. Also, they had a major challenging with their business data actually for operations, like financial data. And when I started that, I was like the only data person in the company back then.
Oh, wow.
So it was a lot of work. I had to talk with all the stakeholders to understand what they need, what can I get with the data we have. We have a lot of data coming from the app, the, the application data. We had events from users using the app. So if you click, if you add to a card, all of this is event data,
Yes. Yes.
and we also had to analyze that.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So I can see how you say you kind of fell into the field of data, but it sounds like you had been growing your interest through your programming and then through learning Python. Really quickly, I'd love to ask, I've spoken to some people on the show who have learned the language R as their very first data language. For you, it was Python. When did you pick up skills? Like, did you have a background in Excel or Tableau or SQL?
No, SQL came to me after Python. I didn't have a
Wow.
previous experience. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All I knew about Excel was, basic usage, like I
Yes.
would use a spreadsheet. So all of that for data analyst come after.
Wow. Okay. 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 This is interesting. So, we're trying to go to look backwards and to figure out how Larissa ended up at this very prestigious position of a data engineer level 3 at Guppy. And if we look at your background, Larissa, we see ballet, we see astronomy, music, poetry. Somehow we're not sure how this all added up to data engineering. How did you choose data engineering instead of being a data analyst or an analytics engineer?
Well, I don't think I chose. I was chosen. Well, I started as more of a business analyst, and by the time I was focused on becoming a data scientist, actually. So I was studying real hard all that machine learn stuff. And
Okay.
after 1 year, I started applying for multiple job openings. So I saw this data engineer role. It was an entry level job, and it was an affirmative job for women. So that really
Okay.
caught my attention. And I decided to try. Even though it was a data engineer, I never thought about it before.
Yes.
And I did not match all the job requirements. Back then, I
Okay.
think I didn't even know what Airflow was.
Mm.
But surprisingly, I got the job. And then I was, okay, now I have to learn this data engineer thing real fast.
Yeah. Wow.
Because
Wow.
I got the job, I wasn't expecting it.
Wow.
It was really tough at the beginning. I remember thinking that any second they're going to find out that they made a mistake by hiring
Oh
me.
my gosh. Oh my
You know
gosh.
that imposter syndrome.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
turns out I think that matches my analytical skills really well. I like to build resilient and reliable pipelines. I
Wow.
like to work on debugging. I like to go deep in the problems.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. You've always been a planner as
Yeah.
well, haven't you?
Yes, I do.
You know, I'm seeing actually some common things, Larissa, in your path to becoming a data engineer that people may not readily see. I just heard a dog before we started recording. Larissa was kind enough to read one of the posters that she has behind me. Larissa, for the benefit of our audience, would you mind reading the one about the dogs? Because it's gonna be relevant to this, I promise, guys.
Yeah,
What does the
okay.
poster behind you say?
This poster here says that I don't trust people who don't like dogs, but I always trust a dog when it doesn't like a person.
And Larissa, what types of dogs do you have?
I have 2 Rottweilers.
Larissa has 2 Rottweilers. Okay, let me connect the dots for you now, people. Ballet from a young age, lover of dogs, specifically Rottweilers, and the determination to apply to jobs, maybe that she doesn't have 100% qualification for, but just like when you were doing ballet, Larissa, and you saw the girl who could do the turns very well, and you said, let me see if I can learn that. It feels like you've almost applied that to your career as well.
Yeah, of course. I think that we can learn anything we want to. I mean, we can learn practically anything. We just need the discipline, the hard work, the dedication. We have to have a method. So I'm a methodic person. So I think that always helps. So plan your path, start with milestones, simple things you can achieve every day, every week, by the end of the month. And this is how you build up your strengths, like your confidence.
This is a really helpful approach for those of us, Larissa, who have struggled with imposter syndrome. I would almost say that for anyone listening who has not struggled with imposter syndrome before, maybe you're not going after big enough goals. Maybe you're just that good at everything. I have certainly struggled with imposter syndrome in a lot of my roles. One area, Larissa, in which people struggle a lot is in the interviews. Now, with you not having a traditional data background, I'm curious, Larissa, whether you can remember any interview questions early on that you were really difficult for you, or you had no idea how to answer those questions. How did you handle those moments in the interviews?
My God. I had this experience that I always talk about and I always remember. That is, I was doing my first ever data engineer interview.
Okay.
It was like before I started here. It was my first ever data engineer interview. I think there's some valuable lessons here. I went to the technical part of the interview.
Okay.
And I had to demonstrate how to do some. It was a simple task. It's a simple task. I had to like 2 databases, 2 datasets, join them and give the answer to the questions. I had to do it in Python, in SQL, and in PySpark. I started with the Python part.
Okay.
They provided like 2 dictionaries and I needed to combine them, get the desired result. And I thought, well, because I worked so much with pandas at the time, I thought that, well, I can turn the dictionaries into pandas data frames and then I can merge the data frames and it's simple, right? And then I asked if I could use any Python libraries and they say no. And I just froze because my mind went completely blank. I couldn't think of any other way to solve it. I was so focused on the pandas approach.
Yes.
And I was like almost an hour in that question. And suddenly I realized that I could just move on to the next question. And I moved on to the SQL question, which I answered really quickly. The PySpark question I answered really quickly because I had literally been studying it in that week. So yeah, solving that 2 other problems really helped me to calm my nerves. So eventually I went back to the Python question and with a clear head, I managed to solve it. So my biggest piece of advice in this story for technical interviews is like, don't get stuck in something you can't answer you can't answer. Like, move on to the next question. Tackle what you know, finish it quickly, and then you build your confidence and go back to the tricky question later.
Wow.
It can make that difference.
I really love this example, Larissa. It sounds like it's not that you didn't have a different approach to apply apart from the pandas libraries, but that was your number one. And when they said you couldn't use that, it really shook your confidence. I grew up playing a lot of sports. I also grew up, certainly as a teenager at some point when I started noticing young ladies, trying to talk to young ladies. And in both of these areas, whether it's dating or whether it's sports or obviously in our professional worlds, confidence goes a long way toward us being able to solve complicated problems. Yes. It feels like whenever we have doubt or, we feel intimidated about a situation, we're not able to do our best work.
Yeah, for sure. And it's all about like you're intimidated because it is intimidating. There's people there like evaluating your work, the way you like how you think, how you act, right?
It's true. It's true. That's funny. That's funny. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That was a really good example. I think it's going to help someone in their next interview.
I hope so.
I'd be interested, Larissa, if you could talk a bit about the tech stack that you are using at Guppy today. What are you working with?
Today I'm working mainly with dbt. We have this lakehouse architecture that we use Iceberg as table format and Trino as query engine. So it's a very, very nice because Trino is a distributed query engine and we can be connected to, and the queries can run in like different clusters, we have multiple workers running one query, which speeds a lot of our developing time.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really cool. I think we're in the bleeding edge of all these table formats. We're using Iceberg for a lot of several years now, and even at the beginning, and I find it is very interesting because of how Iceberg organized data and metadata. Like we can actually use the metadata to improve the performance of a query. When you use Iceberg, we can use the partitions our favor. Like how can I partition this table so the joins or the filters I make here in my SQL are faster.
Right. Oh, that's great. That's great. I noticed, Larissa, that even when you first joined Guppy as a data engineer level 1, you were already using dbt. How did you get introduced to dbt, and what problems has it been able to solve for you in your workplace?
Actually, dbt, I started with the courses of dbt labs. So the training sessions were very helpful. And when we started to adopting it here in Guppy, we chose it primarily for its open source nature. But more than that, we think that dbt help us in a lot of ways. Like we can have quality checks, we can have modular designs of our data assets, we can like really organize our pipeline in a way that all the dependencies and all the lineage is clear. We can see the lineage happening. You can say that one change in a table is going to have an impact in those all different tables. And also because of this, it's developer experience. And for being SQL first, for us is a game changer because it really is lower the entry barrier. Like people can start using dbt just by learning SQL.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And so at Guppy, you're no longer the only data person at the company.
Yes.
So what does your team look like, and what is your role on the team as a data engineer?
Okay, so our team is made of I would say about 10 or 11 people. We essentially have two main groups. We have our data platform folks who are all about maintaining and evolving our data infrastructure.
Yes.
As you said, Iceberg, Trino clusters, the DBT is running correctly, Airflow is up and running, everything is in place. And we have the analytics engineer, which I am one, and who are responsible for designing pipelines and modeling data for our end users. So it's cool that we are not tucked in a business unit, but we act as a central resource serving data for the entire organization. From product analytics to customer operations. But myself, I am today I'm an analytics engineer, but I'm in the middle of platform and analytics engineer because I was there since the beginning. I was there when we started to build the platform, so I have a lot of context in the platform.
That makes sense.
We are a small team, I guess, but we are working incredibly hard to deliver self-service analytics for the whole company.
Very nice. Very nice. Larissa, some of the guests that we've had they work inside a particular business unit. Maybe it's revenue operations or something like that. It sounds like you work on a central team that serves the whole organization. So that's a nice contrast. I would be interested, Larissa, to know some of the maybe data disasters that you've experienced, anything that you can talk about publicly. And the reason that we like to ask this question, Larissa, is that, a lot of people you see on Instagram, not just data professionals, they talk about the highlights and they talk about all these wonderful things. On LinkedIn, it's the same. But honestly, we learn more from the mistakes. I wonder if there's anything you can share with us.
Yeah, sure. Well, maybe we're struggling with data quality issues. I think every data professional has experience on this. And it's something that really bites me is when the data quality issue reach our clients and end users. And there's nothing like getting that it's like message saying, hey, this number seems off, or our clients is questioning this metric, and your heart just stops for like 5 seconds.
Yes.
And suddenly there's a 50 message long thread in Slack trying to figure it out. And the frustrating part is that it's not always a quality issue that we could spot with DBT tests, for example. It's something that more complex. It's like poorly defined business rules, or a client is comparing apples to oranges, like looking into metrics with different business rules and expected them to be identical because they just look the same. And usually this comes from a poorly defined business rule or a non-existent semantic layer. And it's incredibly frustrating because honestly, it erodes trust in data.
Wow.
Like the work we're doing, what we're delivering. And that's so difficult to earn back once it's lost.
Very true. Very true. This sounds like a Taylor Swift song. I think Taylor should write a song about this. Very
I think so
very
too.
difficult challenge.
Yeah.
Goodness. I would be interested, Larissa, then in how you've thought about communicating the business value of your team to the rest of the organization. It seems like I asked this question because it seems like when the data works, when the data platforms and infrastructure, they work and the numbers are delivered on time and correctly, people maybe don't notice.
Yes.
They just go about doing their business. But when it breaks, immediately they're calling Larissa. How are you communicating your value to the rest of the company?
Well, it's something that we're still working on, and it's very tricky because, as you said, no one notices when data is delivered on time and when everything's like running smoothly. You can open a dashboard and things just load instantly.
Yes.
But when it
Magic.
takes like 2 minutes long to load, and people are like, oh, this is broken. It's not
Yes.
loading.
Yes.
I think that first we are looking more of a quantity of created metrics we deliver to our refined layer.
Okay.
So this means that this metric is clear defined with business rules, and
Yes.
we have all the necessary dimensions for the analysis. And the quality and the completeness of this data asset,
Yes.
I think we also are looking to the adoption rate of our platform. I mean, number of people access the visualizations and dashboards we create
Yes.
in our
Yes.
BI tool, because it's not enough just to deliver metrics. People need to use it and needs to generate value. So if no one is engaging with the data, so I think we have a problem. Our impact is limited.
Good point.
Maybe I think we are trying to measure and formalize the time to deliver the information, right?
Yes.
When a business person comes to us asking for metrics, and we need to create it and create the data sets. So how long it takes since the first ask to actually deliver the metric. This time, understanding how long it takes is important for our efficiency and stakeholder satisfaction, of course.
That's a very easy metric to understand and even to measure, Larissa. I wonder though, how do you deal with the danger of the stakeholders sometimes making unreasonable requests? Maybe they want real-time data, or every manager wants his own personal dashboard. Are you fulfilling every request?
No, I think this is quite challenging because we not always can fulfill that request. Sometimes we need to look back with the requesting part to make try to figure out clarifications, ask them questions to really understand what's the pain point here.
That's good. That's good.
What's the real pain they are trying to solve with that request?
That's good.
Because not always we're going to answer with a quick SQL query. Like,
yes.
there's something deeper that this person they had a need, and they're suffering. They want the data.
Wow.
They just don't know how to ask for it.
Wow.
And I think that's crucial, like talking to them to understand what are their pain.
Yes. I like this a lot, Larissa. It reminds me of the word empathy. It sounds like the way you've talked about this, Larissa, it sounds like you have a lot of empathy for your stakeholder. They are experiencing pain. They have a problem. Now, a lot of times the stakeholder has an opinion about how to fix that problem. And I think you are saying sometimes it's good to have to clarify, because what they think is the right solution may not be the best way to design the solution.
Yeah, we have to think about how we can keep serving the metric layer in a resilient way, not just serving specific ad hoc requests that are going to work like once or twice, and then anyone are going to look ever again. Like, we build a dashboard, they see like one time and never again.
But Larissa, I want to ask, culturally, how empowered, how brave does the data team feel to push back on stakeholders? I'll say in the US, for example, it can be different in different industries, but sometimes data engineers, data teams, they don't feel very comfortable pushing back to say, that's not the right way to solve that problem. I don't think we should do that. What has your experience been?
That's a fantastic question. I think it's a leadership role. You have to have a data strategy that is spread across all the company, and the C-levels, the directors and the manager believe in it, so we can hold our position as a data team to enable other teams and not just fulfilling requests. We need to, right?
I love that. I love that.
So I think it's the manager, director, or engineering lead role to be like, okay, my team have limited time. We need to
Yes.
work on improvements. Need to work on quality, and we have
That's
a
good.
limited time to answer these requests that make no sense and
That's right.
not gonna be valuable in a long run.
Right. Right. That's good. That's good. And I have experienced as well that a lot of times how a person experiences their job satisfaction can be related to their manager. So if I'm a data professional and I'm getting requests that don't make sense, or the stakeholders are being aggressive, I'm trying to push back, they're not listening. If I can escalate to my manager can handle it for me. I will have very high job satisfaction and I'll be very good at my job as well. I know it's not always easy for people to push back directly. Sometimes you do need a manager to help.
Yeah, of course. And we need to rely on people who understand what's really delivering value in data.
True. That's true. That's true. With that being said, Larissa, we're coming up on the time, so I've got to let Larissa go, but I'd love to ask a couple more questions. Could you tell us a story of a project you're proud of?
Well, of course, I can tell about a project I did on DBT, and I'm particularly proud of it because we could refactor a whole pipeline using DBT. So about the situation, we have a feedback badge process. This badge is awarded to companies in our recruitment platform that constantly provide feedback to the candidates. And we have this award cycle every 3 months. So we evaluated 2 key metrics that determine if a company earns the badge or not for that period.
Yes.
Previously, the queries for calculating these metrics were running as glue jobs, and this setup was creating a lot of friction. First of all, because the developer experience in Glue is not great. And also investigating any inconsistencies, debugging issues was a real nightmare in Glue. And we often found ourselves spending too much time just trying to understand why a number looks off. So we decided to migrate all these critical queries to dbt.
Yes.
And it was transformative for me because I work with it like almost every day. And we're able to modularize every part of the business rules for that metric. So this improved the developer experience and made easier to other analysts, other engineers to understand and maintain these models. And we also introduced snapshots. This process runs every 3 months. So by the end of the 3rd month, we need to have we have to capture and store the results so we can easily consult and validate the historical data. So we have this snapshot for the last month, but we still can update the models for the results of the current period. Like every day we need to update the results so the companies can see what they are missing to reach the badge criteria.
Yes.
And this project, I think, boosted data, like improved our data reliability. The business people, customers, clients they could easily check and validate their results during the process. And that's why I'm proud of it.
That's a really nice one. That's a really nice one. Thank you for sharing that. Larissa, this has been fun and we're going to wrap it up, but I'd love if we could close with you sharing some advice for people who are looking to progress in their data career. You've had a lot of success in a short amount of time, moving up from your entry level position more to mid level positions. What are some things data professionals should think of as they want to grow in their career?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think it's not easy, but if I can share some advice, it would be to plug into a community. For me, it was a game changer. So I've been involved with women in data since I first got into data. So yeah, now I'm a community manager for Data Grows. It's a community that helps other women to grow and build their careers in data. And there's just something so powerful about seeing people you can connect with find success. Like the network opportunities are available and we can start building team experience. Bolaji, you froze. Can you hear me? I don't think he can. You froze for a second.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we're back.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now. Sorry about that.
Right. So where was I? I was talking about the power of communities.
Yes.
And also the network opportunities are priceless. Like you can even start building team experience, which looks fantastic in an interview. So seriously find what you're passionate about. Maybe for me is diversity. For you, maybe health tech, environmental data, anything. So find a community that shares that passion and try to stay connected with them.
Wow.
And I think my second piece of advice would be a sponge. I believe we are a reflection of all the people we work with. And when you encounter someone who's crushing in a certain area, take the time to talk to them and watch them and maybe ask them, like, what's your magic? What makes you so good at this? And then try to apply those learnings on your own projects.
That's good. I love that a lot. That's definitely something that we can apply not only to our data careers, but to life as well. Folks, we've been listening to Larissa Mendes, data engineer level 3 at Guppy. She is the DBT community igniter for women in data, just doing wonderful things from ballet to music to Taylor Swift to writing poetry. She continues to build resilient habits in real life and resilient pipelines in data. Larissa, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I was so excited. Thank you.
This was fantastic. All right, folks, enjoy this one. Follow Larissa on LinkedIn, and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
This show is brought to you by DBT. DBT is the industry standard for data transformation. It allows your team to prepare data for analysis in a way that's centralized, modular, and entirely open, all inside your cloud data platform. The outcome? Consistently dependable analytics for your organization. Now, the DBT community was built for and by data pros. Come hang out and transform with 70,000 of the brightest analytics engineers, data analysts, and data scientists in the world. With DBT, you transform your data. With the DBT community, you transform your data career.